Like, is this something you're like, okay, that's cool. He looks good. If he wins the Mr. Olympia, that's good.
Okay,
Or
let me. I can break that down in 2 seconds. Now, no disrespect to Nick, because I like his physique. I
yeah,
do. For as far as what he's doing with his muscle, but that shot right there from the front you just showed, I've had a whole lot of guys like that stand in front of me, and I tore them apart. Nasser El somebody beat him. Guys like that I beat. Marcus Rule beat him. We can go down the list of mass monsters that got beat by me. Got beat
yeah,
by guys like Flex, got beat by guys like Chris. So you can I heard a couple of his podcast where he was talking about Samsa, this guy, whatever. I understand, and it is a definitely he's definitely a threat from the back. But if you turn it back around to the front, that waist, if he doesn't accentuate that back to be bigger, like what Jay Cutler did, he's not winning the Mr. Olympia.
Every rep starts with fuel. Helix cream of rice, clean carbs, zero sugar, fast digesting energy that hits quick, fuels hard, and never sits heavy. 27 grams of pure carb power, nothing but rice and real flavor. Proudly made in Canada, built for champions. Grab yours now with code MuscleDiscord. Helix Foods, fuel the work, own the stage.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Muscle Discord, and we're on episode number 10 of the Real Deal podcast with Chris, the Real Deal Cormier, man. We got a big guest on the show, Marvelous Melvin Anthony. Welcome to the show, brother.
What's that, man?
What's
How
up?
are you guys? I got to keep it. Yeah, how you guys doing, man?
All right, man. How you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
Man, I thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. It's been a minute.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, for
man.
sure. What
Mhm.
so what's been happening in your world, brother?
Man, you know me, I'm always pushing to do something. Just just doing what I love to do, and just handing back to the sport, getting back into it, and pushing out these clients to teach them the way, or a way. I won't say it's the way, but it's a way. Getting them in
Right.
shape and helping them with their fitness journey. I also just graduated from my paralegal course, so I was doing that at the
Okay.
same time as working. So
Paralegal.
now, yeah,
Wow.
paralegal. I should. My mom always told
When's
me to go to
the
law school.
when's the graduation
Man,
ceremony?
you. It's funny that you say that. You when I got my
I was
bachelor's
about
degree. You,
as I was about to bring up.
yeah, you came to the graduation, but this one was online. I did it on my side time,
Okay.
and just studied. Did some advanced in law studies, and just wanted to learn the curriculum. Like I'm pretty familiar with the law. Kind of been on both sides of the game, as a lot of people know. But I have an understanding for it, and I'm a fighter. I enjoy beating up bullies. So
Well,
this give me
because
an opportunity.
last time you was in a ceremonial situation, you was doing nails. So I went
Yep.
there to your nail graduation.
Yeah.
I didn't get my nails done, but you I saw you as I mean you did it. I mean
Yeah.
that's something a lot of people wouldn't even bother to even go into or do, but you did
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people just would doubted me and wanted that. They thought it was weird, but it's a way to make side
it.
money. It's okay. It's there's a lot of males that are in that field doing hair, doing nails, and from my background and from Riverside, California, you know, um, whatever I wasn't in Watts in the projects, I was hanging around my little Vietnamese homeboys, and they had nail shops when they was hot.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like on a bet type of thing. You know what I mean? They're like, oh man, you can't do nail. You too big, me dang. Me dang me black, but that's my nickname. For them, they go, I'm me dang. So I was like, yeah, well, you can't read English, so I'm gonna pass before you do. So it was kind of like on a bet. So I took the course at Career Academy of Beauty in Orange County, and I think I was dieting at the time, wasn't I, Chris? I think I was kind of.
Yeah,
I was. I went through
I,
that course and passed first
I
try.
I think you were blonde back then though.
Yep. I was following Cisco, man. Following
Yeah.
Cisco is crazy. I
Cisco.
started a trend. Yeah.
Were
Cisco.
you on a Were you on like a dating episode or something?
Yeah. I was on
What
blind
was
date.
that? Blind
called
date.
Blind Date,
Yes.
and they ran that thing for 2 years, and it was so funny. The I guess the prestige from it, like people was walking up to me everywhere. Me and Chris went, man, what you on Blind Date? Where's your blonde hair? Well, you can always, only wear that for so long before you have to change it. And the reason why I changed it was I got on stage with that in New York, and the
Let's see if I can
crowd
find that.
loved it, but the judges hated it. They were like, "Man, why you do that?" Something new, just trying to be, I was trying to be Rodman or something. And it didn't
So,
go too well. So I cut that stuff off quick.
so you're the John Brown associate. Um, you that's where you started from, or did you have someone before John Brown got involved with your journey?
Uh, I think, thinking back far enough, he was the first guy that really got me as far as acclimated to the procedure of getting into a show. But my bodybuilding career started when I was a kid. It was I was always into the weights and the Marvel comic books, and me and Jam Man, we always talk about that, Jim. And I wanted to have muscles. So, just running around the neighborhood, I was always told, hey man, you're gonna be good, man. You got a physique on you, man. You're gonna be a bodybuilder. But at the time, from where I'm from, well, people know in the Inland Empire, my neighborhood, people get in trouble. So, the first guy I met who was really a really top guy was Troy Zucalato, who I still to this day call Mr. Zook. Everybody in my neighborhood was afraid of that white guy. Just
Let's see.
imagine having a dude 265 pounds walking around with tights on, with keys, you know what I mean? And he was, handcuffing the OGs and throwing them in the hole, and I was just in there for fighting. I'm just like, he walked up to me one day and was like, "Hey man, come
So
here, Anthony." Troy
he was a
Zucalato.
cop. He was
Troy.
a cop.
Yeah, Troy Zucalato was a correction
A
officer in the
CO.
juvenile hall,
Okay.
in
Okay.
juvenile hall,
Okay.
Riverside. And
Mm.
before that, I had seen him, but I didn't know that was who he was. I was going to Ted Williamson's gym, and that particular area in Riverside, he had a gym called Spectrum Gym,
Oh
and
yeah.
Zucalato trained in there. I think you've been down there a couple
Oh
times.
yeah. I've
So
been in Spectrum. That was
yes,
with damn
Ted
Ted
Williams,
Williamson,
Sandy,
Sandra Rinaldi. Yeah.
and his mom. So as a kid, I used to ditch school, and in the seventh, eighth grade, I was ditching. I was ditching before high school, and I was so into weights. I would ride my bike. Once the guy that really introduced me to lifting weights, there was two guys in the neighborhood, and one guy's name was Jerry Ports, who was the mailman in the neighborhood, knew everybody's mama. The second guy's name was Stephen James. Rest in peace, strong. And he took me up there, and the first time I seen him, I was like, man, that's a big ass white boy. He said, man, you can't say that in here. I didn't know, from where we from, we say what we feel. I saw a guy named Smokey and, Troy Zucalato and all those guys that were the top guys back in the day. And then when I saw him in juvenile hall, it was Mr. Zook. He didn't take no mess off of anybody. He was married to a lady named, I think it's was Mr. Zook and Miss Debbie. I don't know if you remember his first wife, Miss Debbie. And it was really a good experience to be able to be told that there was an out for me. And this is way back. And he said, when you get out of here, you got a good body. You need to stop hanging around these guys because you keep it up, you're either gonna be two places: in jail or in prison, jail or dead. You're gonna choose which one. I'm like, you ain't from my neighborhood, so it's a different. You go by different rules, in my neighborhood. So I didn't really listen to him too much. And then I met John later in Fullerton
Yeah.
when I went to Cal State Fullerton playing football.
Okay. Yeah. So in the neighborhoods, like we all had the guys that came in and out of jail, came back with a lot of muscle. And that's
Mm-hmm.
like that's the first people you look up to is the ones that had the muscle in the
Yes, sir.
neighborhood, and that's where that's your first time you look at someone close up bouncing their titties and their chest,
Yeah.
at the park. You've been to the park, you've been in my neighborhood before,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
so that's where I first started looking at someone lifting weights, and we all had the Incredible Hulk. So you're watching that, on the day on TV, and then you're watching
Yep.
that when you go to the park, and then you start to say, "Hey, I want to." You get intrigued by the muscle. You want that.
Yeah. Didn't want
But
to get
that's how
beat
it
up no
starts
more.
for a lot of guys.
Yeah, yeah. We had guys getting out, and we were told, you want to get big, you got to go there. So a lot of us, which is a dumb statement, I wish I would have did it different, but it really desensitizes a young man to not be afraid to go to the cage. Because we know you're gonna go in there, you're gonna see guys from the neighborhood, you're gonna be okay, be protected, lift weights, come out big. And at the time I was getting bullied, so um, it was I was ripe for it, and I invited it. So those choices, you end up getting in a place in a spot where you don't want to be, and then you're from a neighborhood to where if you don't fight, you get out and go to the neighborhood, oh, you fight, everybody jumping on you,
Yeah,
because you didn't help your friends.
yeah.
Hmm.
But then when you talk to them, they just did push-ups every day, and they came out. Everything's big, chest, shoulders, arms, everything's big.
Everything.
So you're just like, okay. But then that's in your mind, like, I just got to do push-ups. Like, if I did push-ups, I'm gonna grow.
Yep.
Just stay consistent on it.
Yeah, stay consistent. Now, what was your regimen? Though I was told to do 500 push-ups a day, in sets of 20s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and then get a piece of paper and you do your math. And then another day you do 500 squats, and then 200 to 300 push-ups. The curls, we would man curl buckets of water. I remember talking my mom into buying some concrete weights, and I broke them on the third day, bro. You can't just drop those on the ground on the concrete. Those
Right,
original weights, I cracked them, and my mom was like, "I'm not buying you nothing else. You better deal with. You
yeah,
better fix them somehow." But once the plastic cracked, there was no fixing those. You
right,
know.
right, right. Yeah, I mean that's how it was back then.
Camera.
But so get into the competitional phase you went through. That was more like, okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
One second.
Let me change my camera. Just here. It's gonna pause it. I'm gonna. All right. So yeah,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
style of
so
training.
yeah, so
Yeah.
let's say when okay, go ahead, Melvin.
Yeah. So yeah, I used to do a lot of calisthenics, and then my cousin. I have a cousin named Todd who used to be a head bouncer at the Club Metro. Now that Club Metro was like where you used to work in L.A. at the Century Club down there. It was him that basically gave me advice. Just follow me around the gym, and this is after I had been around the two guys that introduced me to weight training as far as like working with weights. He just said, "Hey man, you got a body, man. What you doing, man? How you train?" And I'm just like, push-ups. That's it. That's all you do. I was like, yeah, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, pull-ups off my mom's clothesline. And he's like, man, you playing. He thought I was crazy. I said, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call Auntie. And he went and checked it, and he's like, that boy ain't got no weights. So he told me, he's like, you do everything that I do. Just follow me around the gym, and I did. So I got my first introduction just by following Big Todd around in the gym at Jack
Okay.
LaLanne's. And that's giving away my age, and I don't like doing that, but it's all right. Jack LaLanne's was before Family Fitness.
Hey, Jacqueline.
People don't know that history. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We used to watch Jacqueline on TV every day.
Me too.
Little
Jack
guy,
LaLanne.
little bitty
Yeah.
guy.
Swimming
That's
across
way.
the ocean,
Yeah.
you know.
So that's the thing. So tell me this. Um, Getting into your first show, I just want to talk to you a little bit about your past before we move on to the
Okay.
present. But what uh, what was that like getting on the stage for the first time?
Well, the first time, it was scary, and it was before I met John. I did a show, and I tell you right now, it was the worst post routine I think I ever did. Did it off Whitney Houston.
Fine.
I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know how to hold my poses, and I can't remember the guy that showed me my first routine. I didn't. It was basic, he had some background and experience doing it, but I just didn't get it. So the first time I did it, I did okay, but I was terrible. I go back and look at those pictures. I looked terrible. You know, my butt looked like I was wearing a pair of Pampers. You know, it was crazy. So that once I got that out the way, I went. You know, I ended up meeting John after my first, show, and that experience was way different.
That's what's up. Yeah, I mean, John had a little bit to do with a lot of us, from Sean Ray to you and myself even. Uh, but check this out. So I met you through my cousins. I met you many years ago. So my my
That
How?
cousin
Hey,
story,
first
and
off,
Damon.
let the people know how long have you guys known each other? When did you first meet? What
I
year?
met
um,
1995, I think, or
95.
90, because I saw Chris for the first time at the Palm Springs Muscle Classic at the first show I ever won. And Chris was there, Kevin was there, everybody was there. Paul, all of them. I got a chance to meet so many pros. It was like a kid in a candy store. I was like, and then that's Kevin. That's Chris. He took me over and introduced me to Chris. And he was, hey, how you doing? And shook my hand and went on by. So about 3 months, 4 months later, I'm in a fraternity. I'm at Cal State Fullerton. And Rock comes up and is like, I'm looking at pictures in the magazine. Man, that's my cousin. I was like, man, if you don't get away from me with that BS, I cussed him out. Like, man, I'm be talking about you don't know nothing about no, but that's my cousin. I said, man, that ain't your cousin. I'll call my cousin. I said, if that ain't
Yeah.
your cousin, me and you going toe to toe. He's like, whatever, I'll let you punch me in the face if that ain't my cousin. I said, I'm gonna punch you twice in the face. So he ended up calling Chris, and Chris answered that phone. And I knew Chris's voice because I heard him talking to John Brown. And I'm looking at Rock. He said, "I told you, fool, that's my cousin. I told." I said, "Man, you think you can like introduce me and man, he's this boy want to come work out with you, man. You." I was like, "Man, if you do that, that'd be awesome." And Chris said, "Hey, man, anytime, bro. You make it up here, come on up." I thought
Yes.
that was ridiculous. And I told John, man, I talked to Chris, man, I'm going up to the train, man. And Chris wasn't
Yes,
having,
yes, yes.
or not Chris, John wasn't having. He's
Gracias.
like, man, you're going up there, man, and you're gonna mess around, and don't you got to listen to what you're being told, and this and that, and yada yada. And I ended up going up there to see you in Venice Beach. That was an
Yeah.
experience in itself. I got a chance to train with him, and I ended up no, it wasn't Venice.
No, it was Orange County.
It was in
Orange
Orange
County.
County. He said, "Come up to Orange County at that was it in Fountain Valley."
Yeah.
And I had
Yeah.
just finished winning. I had just finished winning the Orange County and the Cal a week apart,
But you went,
1996.
you started to go get ready for the cow. We were
Yeah.
doing some posing in my living room. I remember
Yes,
we was
sir.
working on some different moves in my living room. And then we went to the gym to go train. And then, we started to hang out more and more then. And then you end up winning the cow. And then we did your first video.
Yeah.
We did
That
we did
battle.
your first training video in Fountain Valley
Yeah.
Powerhouse Gym, and
Yeah.
I introduced you to the bodybuilding world per se by saying like, "This is Melvin Anthony."
Yep.
He's gonna. I said he just won the men's California. I said, you know what they talk about? What they say about California champions? They always
They
go
always
pro.
go pro.
Yeah. So, but then he wasn't.
I looked
But
at Chris like this boy better stop telling these people these lies. I messed around not win.
I said they
I-
always go pro. But then I took him out to the Weeders, and the
yeah.
Weeders writers, they didn't believe what I was saying. I was like, man, this guy's gonna go pro. I said he's gonna be good. He's gonna be a legend in the sport one day.
They
And
laughed in
they
my
they
face
started laughing. Right,
hysterically.
bro. They started
Chris
laughing at
Bond,
Melvin, and I was like,
Chris Bond, Peter McGuff, Horton, all of them. They was laughing.
they all started laughing right then
I,
and there on his face. And I was like,
I
I
wanted to
said,
bury
bro, I
myself in my clothes. Like, oh my God, what is this
but
guy
check
getting me
this
into?
out. Uh, but Matthew, the same shit happens to this day. When I see something in someone, I feel like if they just had the time, it's gonna come full circle. It's gonna come
Yeah.
around to these people gonna understand what I'm talking about. I've been doing that for many, many years, and people still not believing in what I'm saying people like Rubio. I'm saying like when I first came out and said, "Hey, Samson can get beat at this Arnold Classic." and I think, you know, I think he can get beat
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
no one, everybody laughed. Everybody, called me delusional. And then
Yeah,
what
man.
happened? And then
Uh-huh.
what happened?
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, if I have an eye for a physique, if I have an eye for talent, uh, I see the potential, and I'm going to tell you, like, this is what I see, and I see it happening, and it always comes true. So do
Yeah, he's
not
got an eye,
ever.
and I was taught the eye from John Brown. He told me,
Yeah.
he's like, bro, you're gonna be good, man. He said, I helped Chris, I helped Vince Taylor, I helped Victor Richards. Sean Ray was my first guy, and I'm telling you right now, with the way you move and the way you look, if you listen to what I'm telling you, he said you'll be a legend. I didn't even know what that meant when he said. I was like, I don't care as long as I'm making some money. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make some money, be a driver car like you got. I'm gonna do it. So hanging around Chris and telling me again just reiterated what I had been hearing. And people don't understand. Chris has a big heart now. You know,
Well,
he didn't ask me for anything. He just said you just give it your best. And you just do what you're told. And hey, just do what I do, and you'll learn everything. Diet, you'll learn nutrition. Everybody has their style. John Brown's high volume, heavy weight, high amount of reps, progressive, superset, cluster set, all of that. Chris was more streamlined. He would do things and just isolate a muscle, and we just go for it. We used to train with Charles Glass, but people don't realize that the dancing part is one thing, but you got to get the muscle to be able to present it at the night show.
yeah. Well,
So
well, speaking of John Brown and Chris, let's go over your posing because obviously that's what we want to highlight, and we'll go into the training as well with Charles and everything, and look at some of your training footage as well. But like, so who taught you to pose? Was this just you, or did you
there's
learn
there's a
from?
gl- John Brown taught me everything he knew about posing. Now, I did get tips from others like Milo Sarchev, Sean Ray gave me tips, but my guru, my blueprint was given to me by John Brown. Now, the wow
And then
factor,
and
which
then
we
he
call it,
took things. He took things
I was
from
I
me.
still yeah. And I'm gonna tell you how I got this. I'm gonna get there. I ain't gonna leave it out, Chris, because I know you're gonna try to
All
blast
right,
me.
now, because
So
I'm
I'm gonna
right
beat you
here.
to the damn punch, sucker. So he would tell me, he goes, hey man, so you gotta have a wow factor, And I'm like, what's that? He said, what I be doing? And he showed me some of his videos, and I'm like, I'm looking at John Brown, pop lock, right? And I'm looking at him and going, you doing it, but you kind of touch it. He said, what you trying to say? You can dance? I said, I can do it better than that, but that's good. You know what I'm saying? With that muscle, I see nothing like it. John Brown was moving around. I'm like, man, he's like, if you can do it, let me see it. So he put on some music. I said, I can dance pretty good. He said, show me. So he put on more bounce of the ounce, and he saw me doing that. And he said, let me tell you something. You actually are right. You do that a little bit better than I do, but you have to incorporate poses with it like I do. If you do that, you'll be better than I was. And I'm a legend. And I'm like, yes, sir. I can do that. He goes, you keep learning, you perfect the craft, and you'll be able to do it. Now, fast forward, or actually going back, as a 9-year-old kid, I was a mascot for a breakdance crew. My next door neighbor was one of the California breakers who was in breaking too. I used to follow Flat Top and Boogaloo Shrimp. I used to go to Venice Beach in the summertime, and man, that was I wasn't trying to go swimming in the ocean. I'm trying to go find the dancers so I can learn how to do that.
Yeah,
So I had to
I see a lot of flat top in Melvin.
Flat Top used to buy me pizza. Flat Top would take me around. Boogaloo Shrimp would show me stuff. And the first guy to ever teach me to dance, his name is Steve Wills. So we called him Red in the neighborhood. And he taught me how to really get my first introduction into breakdancing. And what breakdancing people don't realize, they think it's just shaking and baking. Pop locking gives you the capacity
You see that
to
right there,
contract.
that double leg shake?
Yeah, contract any
That
muscle.
was
Yeah, I
all
stole that.
me.
I stole that from Chris. I sure did.
That's all me.
Yeah, so
Hype
that was
me
my
up.
gift. Yeah, that was my gift. I stole that dough. I saw Chris doing it one day, and I stole it. I sure did.
And then I was like, I'm not doing it no more.
I said, "You keep doing it."
I didn't do it no more.
He didn't. That was the
Hey,
last time
but
I think he ever did it.
all this comes, that was great. I mean, you had a lot of adversity also. A lot of times you want to just give it up and go a different direction. Myself, I'm thinking Dennis James also instrumental in keeping you back, in the game. But
Yeah.
you want to tell us a little bit about some of the adversity you went through, or it's just, I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there. This is the Real Deal podcast, and I feel like we try to
Yeah.
keep it as real as possible here. And
Yeah. I mean, for me, let me just say this first, that, in the industry, in bodybuilding, in the IFBB, and the NPC, muscle contests, the worst thing you can do is give the sport a black eye. So me keep being taught professionalism. You keep your business, and you keep it off the stage. You gonna know what you do in your personal life is with your personal life. Me coming from my background, I had access to a lot of drugs, a lot of party favors. So, you know, when you start to messing with that, up and down, you can get into a spot where you can't get out. And so, that being said, nobody's innocent in this game. To this day, there are people that party. The people that do things that they shouldn't do. My stint with is I struggle with frustration because I actually didn't like myself. I didn't think I was as good as people were saying. So you can call it walking with a chip on your shoulder. You can call it, doing it out of doubting. Just doing it for the hell of it. I was doing all three.
well, Melvin, when you say doubting, like a lot of us, I mean, I know I kind of like threw you out there, like, oh, he's gonna go pro, he's gonna be this big guy, and I put you in front of a lot of very important people in the sport
Yeah.
that they didn't actually believe it. But everyone has that doubt at some time. Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing everything I can? Am I even able to do this? Do I have the physique for it?
Hmm.
So that's all. I think a lot of us struggle with that type of mindset
Hmm.
at different times of our career.
Yeah. Yeah. Frustration was my biggest thing. You get frustrated looking at, I could be better. I could do this. I can do that. And my thing, sometimes I want to sit back and quit because real life, bodybuilding. If you try to do bodybuilding as your first stream of income, you crazy. And I did. And I did it. That was my go-to. That was my lifestyle. That was what I wanted to do. That's who I wanted to be. I didn't have a backup. That was my end game. I want to do that and that only. So that was, I lived, breathed, ate and drank bodybuilding. I wanted to learn everything from anybody that would teach me. And that's got that from John. Anybody that tells you something that makes sense, you write it on a piece of paper and you use it. And you can't fear anyone. Anybody you get on stage with, it don't matter who it is, you go for the juggler. You know what I mean? And I've had some wins, and got my butt kicked, but I take my wins as well as I took my losses, and that's in life and then without. So my struggles with my lifestyle, I pay for my mistakes, I move forward, and it's just a learning process. You know what I mean? The question is the people that get into this, did you learn a lesson? I learned a lesson in my 50s. I learned that lesson. I don't have no more time for the cage.
Yeah, not one day.
Mm-mm, not even a
Not one
minute.
day.
Not even a minute. But I
Yes.
didn't never disrespect bodybuilding. And what I love about it is that the bodybuilding fans, friends, and family never they really turn their back on me. To this day, it's a wonderful experience to be humbled by fans telling me, I don't care what you did. You still my favorite. Shoot, Martha Stewart went to prison. You know what I mean? Got named Wesley Snipes went. So I came out. You know what I mean? It didn't
Yeah,
change
that's
nothing.
right.
Nobody
That's right.
cares. Who cares? And anybody
Yep.
that tries to
but
judge me for getting in trouble, there's a lot of people that are in prison, in jail, juvenile halls, but there's a whole another 65% of people that just ain't got caught yet.
Hmm.
But they got it bad for you. Keep playing with that game. They got it bad for you. So, if I'm judged based upon my mistakes, so be it. But it taught me something that I'm able to give back to youth, to guys that are out there doing things they shouldn't. It's easy for me to say, don't do this or don't do that because I've been there. You can't tell me anything about getting in trouble because I'm on both sides of the fence, and that's why me being paralegal, it kind of shows that I know what I'm talking about, and half of them laws I broke, but I never did it in front of bodybuilding, and that was my thing. You never disrespect bodybuilding. Your business is your business. But me, I'm an open book. You want to know something, if it's going to help somebody, I have no problem talking about it.
yeah, for sure. There's always someone can always turn their life around, and uh, could be trouble, could be could be health wise, can be, things need to change in your life to be more healthy.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
faced with all these different trials and tribulations of life. So yeah, man. Thank you for talking about that. And yeah, bro.
Yeah. We can go into some of the training stuff too. I wanted to get his philosophy on training here a little bit, so I'll share training here, back workout here
Yeah.
with
So you
Charles.
have
That
and
this would be a good one.
you have your training uh Mad Circle team you got going now. You wanna
Yeah, yeah. The
talk
Mad
about that
Circle.
a little bit?
Yeah, the Mad
Okay,
Circle is actually what I've learned over the years from all the people I've been around. Via you, John Brown,
keep
you
this
know,
quality.
um, training with guys that, I thought I couldn't deal with. I've learned a lot on the way. The John Brown workout or the process, the Charles Glass process, it's mixed into one because there's different aspects that are used in training for different times or different phases in your journey to get ready for a show. And so I use that for male and female. It doesn't matter if you're a wellness competitor, bikini, your bodybuilding, classic physique, you still got to work out. You still have to eat food. For me, back was a gift for me, but you still got to train it. Anybody can be born with the greatest genetics, but if you don't eat the right nutrients and train the right way and give your body time to mature, you're going to get your ass kicked.
What was this? How
Yes,
far
sir.
out from the? Just ready for the Olympia? How many weeks out were you
No,
here?
that was getting ready for a pro show.
Just the pro
That,
show.
that
Okay.
that that might be in 1999. That was before I went pro.
This is Battle for the Olympia 2001.
Yeah, so I was getting ready for the Ironman then.
Okay. And
That
how
was that
much are
was
you
my
weighing? Like
my
for
2001.
how much are you weighing in this right now? So you guys get an idea.
right there. I think I was about 240 something.
Okay. And how tall are you again?
Yeah, Charles had me doing a lot of that time and attention with free weights, not that time and
Okay.
attention with no machine. We use free weights because Charles used to tell us, that the gravity pull is different on iron. Free weights. Yeah, machines are great, but you just have a different look when it
Hmm.
comes to working out with free weights. And I know it's true because all you have to do is go back to the guys in the 70s and 80s and look how they train, look what they use, and look at their bodies. Let's not even talk about the chemicals. Let's just talk about their training. They had a different look to them, that density. They trained for years, day in and day out. And that's what I think is missing in sport right now. These guys are, coming out of high school, jumping on a stack, jumping on stage, and thinking that that's mature. That ain't mature. You don't really start to mature until you're in your 30s. If you've trained in your 20s, by the time you get to your 30s, that's when you start getting that real dense, deep, separated look. That's all the
Some
way to
good
the bone.
footage right there.
Yeah.
That's some great shots.
Yeah, I was getting it back then. And that was when me and you, we would go out to the firehouse after, and that's what Chris would always tell me at the time, hey man, you train hard enough, man, we gonna go down the street, man. I got you. You gonna pay for some food? Oh yeah, I'm finna get all the way in there. We gonna go down and get some food together, yes. But as you can
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
there's a lot of time on attention here. And the
Slow, controlled. Yeah.
that yes, that was my B workout. For I would go train with Charles, and then during the day I'd be at Milo Sarchev's gym, and I would do the John Brown workout. So I was doing both, and I just continued to grow and grow and grow and grow, you know. And at that point, I had really just started, messing around with with some combinations of chemicals. I didn't do a lot.
Were you doing GH back then? Were you guys doing the GH
I
and
didn't
stuff?
st- I didn't start doing GH till Chris told me to. And I'll tell you that right now. It's like, you know what? Now you're ready. I don't think I started that until 90. I think I did 98. I think
Okay.
1998. And Chris was like, all right, man, we're gonna dibble and dab just for a little bit. And it was bare minimum. It was like, that what I
But
remembered, like 2 units.
but the thing is though, that I started off at 2 units also from my
Yeah.
first couple of Olympias.
Hell
And
yeah.
actually I was on 2 units, two I used every other day. It wasn't even every day.
It was every other day. Yep. And
And
that's
I'm
man,
telling
that's
you, it was hemotrope, and I was
and
like,
genotrope.
okay, but I was always taught to take the littlest amount as possible in order to get the results you're looking for. So you're trying to get results. You can get results of up 2 IUs. You don't have to start at 4 IUs and go up to try to get to 12 IUs. That's not the way you do it.
No.
I mean, it's
No,
not
he's
the
got,
best way to do it. That's for sure.
I tell you a horror story, man. Like, believe me, I tried to do a whole lot like some of these other guys. Boy, I thought I was gonna die. Like literally, the most I've ever done of that, and I'm just talking about me, and I ain't gonna put no names out there who kind of like threw it out there, and I tried it. I did 26 IU's, I think, for about 9 days. I will never do that again. I don't know what it was about it. It made me sick as a dog. I thought I was having a kid or something. They call it more. I've never had morning sickness, but if throwing up by looking at food is one of them, yeah, I was doing that for about 3 days. I had to pipe that right down
Damn.
and go back
A
to what I
day,
was doing.
26 IU's a day.
A day,
Wow.
because it was free. It was
Oh,
free.
okay.
I'm
Okay.
like, man, if somebody give me 10 boxes,
Yeah,
I'm gonna try it.
yeah.
And I,
I
and I did. I was like a dummy.
Yeah, I got jacked up and doing when I was doing 18. I just
Yeah.
tried it just because I had so much to go, and I was in Mexico, and I'm trying to go back to America. I'm like, I better try to finish this off. So I started taking the whole bottle, like trying to
Yes.
finish the bottle, the box off, and then I ran into trouble. I ended up in the hospital. That I think that cost
Wow.
me a Miss Olympia because that was year 2000, and I feel like that was when Ronnie went way too heavy, and I think
Yeah.
that was just a year after my '99 look, and I was
Yeah.
going to be better than that. I was 2 months out, 282 pounds, and I was very solid, and I felt like I was going to be 20 more pounds down. I was going to be in the lower 260 area with a lot of shape, and I think that would have won the Olympia that year, but I didn't get a chance to do it because I thought something else was going on in my body, my physique, my inside,
Yeah. Something weird,
my
right?
organs. I didn't know
Yeah.
what, blood sugar, everything was all jacked up, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna just sit this one out. But I was in the audience. I remember tears in my eyes because I knew I missed my shot right there. That was my shot, year
Yeah.
2000.
And it's okay. You know what I mean?
I
It's
was,
okay.
Yeah.
I was hurt.
And then that year, 2001, people don't realize, me being in the 240s, 240 plus, my waist was still 27 and a half inches.
I was about to say that's why I paused it on that front double. Like I was going to
Oh,
ask you what was
yeah,
your
27 and a half inches. And they said, oh man, you ain't got no 27 and a half inch. Well, that belt I was wearing by Cardillo, which somebody stole in that gym in Venice Beach. And I hope whoever stole it, I hope you have headaches every day. You know what I mean?
Choke on the
But
chicken bone.
yeah, with a chicken bone. Yeah, Cardillo made that belt for me when I won when I went pro, and I got a belt from him, and that belt was a 28-inch belt. So I had that thing locked all the way down past the 28 inches to the last notch, which was in the 27. I still had room.
yeah,
Yeah.
27 inches at
And
240? I
and
mean,
yeah,
that was
anybody that thinks I'm lying can call Cardillo if he's still around and ask him, because it's probably on record. 28-inch belt.
Well,
yeah,
damn.
genetics.
Yeah. Yeah, but even with genetics, I still had to bang them weights. It
Yeah,
didn't
you
matter,
got to
you
be
know what I
careful.
mean?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
So
Flex Wheeler calls me his twin. He's like, man, you got my body with a better back. He told me that years ago.
Hey, man. Hey, so, you know, at the end of your career, did you leave any food on the table? Did you feel like you got what you came for in your journey?
I don't think I really ever left. I just walked away. I never
Well,
officially
I mean,
retired.
your competitive journey.
Yeah. I think I left out doing a complete, I guess, regimen of,
I think this is your last show.
yeah, like my last show. I didn't
Was
really
it the
realize it
Arnold?
was my last show. Me
What
doing
was your
2010.
last
the
show?
So
my last
2010.
my yeah, my last show 2010. I did the Phoenix Pro,
Okay. And this is the Arnold.
and that, yeah, and then I messed around, and that show they told me I was actually too big for my body, which I thought was crazy. So you
Hey,
know
did you see how when he hit that shot and his arm bicep came up and you see the muscle absolutely just rise up like that?
Yeah.
I wish we saw more of that to this day, man. I wish we saw more of the muscles actually moving,
Yeah. Oh,
We
striating.
can get into it. We're going to get into the what he thinks about the current crop of bodybuilders. We're going to get into that.
oh, we can get all the way in that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I was taught to just move like water. You know, when I teach posing now to my clients that want to do that, it's not all about just jerking and moving around. It's like you have to flow like water. You have to bring that music together and make it alive. You got to make you have to you tell a story with your physique. What are you really trying to say to the audience? I did it with my music. When I wanted to cuss at the judges for giving me a sorry ass place, I wouldn't couldn't say nothing, but I could do it in my music. You go back and listen to some of those music genres. I was telling how I felt, inside that music, you know,
yeah,
I
and I
used to
had
like
fun
to
doing it.
have something on my mind when I'm training for a show. Either
Hmm.
it was a person I was focusing in on, whether it was Jay, whether it was Ronnie, whether it was somebody. I used to like to train with that in my mind,
Yeah,
think about them for months on end.
yeah, visualizing who you're trying to be. Like, if they had the social media, then I would have been prepared for every show for anybody coming, because these guys will show everything they got, everything they're eating, what they taking, who they dating, where they going. Man, you could never show me nothing like that. I was a dragon. I would burn them guys to death showing me that stuff. That would motivate me. And I used to tell guys all the time, like, when I started getting into the sport, these guys would be talking about, "Oh, Chris, I'm gonna beat you." You don't ever tell Chris that. That's like that's like going into a dragon's lair and sticking a pitchfork up his nose. You don't want to wake that keep that sucker asleep, because as long as he's asleep, he might slip a little bit. But if you wake that guy up, it's over with. And I saw it
so
firsthand. I used to laugh about it all the time.
so we see you dancing, yeah, for sure. We never like to mention anyone's name, but we see you dancing. You see that's been in the on social media a lot lately. Like, what's
yeah,
your take on what you've been witnessing? I know you did a lot of stuff, but you did a lot of posing in between your dancing and a lot of technical, poses. But that was a entertainment,
yeah. It's
uh,
just
entertainment part of
tastefully
entertainment for
done.
you.
Yes,
Yeah,
every it was entertainment, but it's also, the main thing about posing is you're supposed to show the judges, the crowd, the fans, people that have never seen bodybuilding before. You want to show them why you're the winner. If I was able to just dance all day, and nobody could ever beat me. I mean, in this sport, nobody's ever beat me in posing. I got every award that was ever offered, more posing awards than anyone. But did I pose? Yes, I danced. Yes, I popped lock. Yes, I shook my ass. But in between that genre was a pose, a most muscular, a side chest, a side tricep, a backed up bicep. I was dancing and posing at the same time. I saw those videos where everybody's clowning this guy because he was out of shape. First of all, who's your coach?
yeah,
I'd like to talk to that. I don't. It's not that guy's fault for doing. Somebody told him to do that. Now, did I hate it? It was pretty, pretty interesting watching it. But where's the posing? This is bodybuilding, so you got to at least throw a shot in here, a shot in there. Do a crab shot here, an ab shot. You got to do something with that, not just lip sync and sing a song. And that's not what they came to see. They came to see your body, not even really your face, from the neck down. And so anything you do in movement, I was taught to entertain as well as pose, so that they know I showed the slow part first, and then I would turn around and do my fast part, which is the wow factor, because not very many people can do what I've done, and throw shots in with it. You know. Now this gentleman here, no disrespect, but the first thing John Brown and all the other guys I was around my whole career said, you can't get on stage out of shape. Even when you guest pose, you got to have something to show muscle. That is bodybuilding. You're building muscle. Because if that's the case, and I didn't have to get in shape, I'd have won multiple Mr. Olympias just entertaining.
So some people said, we don't know what this guy has been through to get to this point. Maybe he was 400 pounds before. Maybe he was, 300 pounds or whatever it was. Maybe this is the ultimate for him. Maybe he's walking around naked at home thinking he's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yes, there's still a standard though. There's still a criteria. I'm not knocking them. Like I said, no disrespect. I actually enjoyed the routine, but at the same time, I'm like, where's the muscle? Losing
Yeah.
400 pounds, that it'd be different if he's doing a Weight Watchers contest, or if he's doing whoever loses the most pounds for protein contract.
Hmm. Hmm.
We're talking about getting on stage, standing next to a man to your left and to your right. Your finals,
Yeah,
yes, entertain. Yes, you have to hit shots, but it can't be to the point where there's no condition. John Brown would never let me get on stage like that. Not Chris Cormier, not Milos, Sean. None of these guys would look at me and go, "Mel, what are you doing, man? You can't. No, you're not ready." So that's his coach's fault. Even at 400 pounds, that is a wonderful experience, and I would take my hat off all day and bow down. But as far as competitiveness, that's a bologna sandwich for me, and I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
yeah. So when we were competing, there wasn't a whole lot of. I mean, coaching was just starting to get to ramp up uh, toward the end of my career, but it was in there when you were still in the game. But I just feel like there was enough guys around to where we were preparing each other for the professional ranks before we were in professionals when we were amateurs, and you had people with that type of knowledge. I feel like some of the coaches today, they don't really have that type of experience on Olympia stage. They don't have the type of experience really on any stage, really. But then they have people that are good with diet, supplements, whatever they're doing, uh, site injections, whatever, and throwing somebody up there. But it's so many more nuances that we was able to learn and teach and pass down to each other.
Absolutely.
That's I feel like it's not really there a lot of times.
In my gym where I'm at, and shout out to, Desert Metro Fitness in Indio. They really took me in and really, really allowed me to evolve, what I have going out with the mat circle training systems. When we were coming up, even in the gym, I would hear, even now, they say, oh, we're old school, we're this, we don't, they act like we don't know nothing. And I've heard, that it was said, oh, just because you're a pro, and I won't put nobody's name out there, just because you're a pro don't mean make you a good coach. Since when? Just because you're a professional athlete and you did the this and this and this, it don't make you a good coach. Well, I say like the damn TikTok bullshit, bullshit. Since when? If it's like Tyson, if I have a Mike Tyson in the gym, and yes, we have a custom model, and let's just say Mike Tyson had a couple of coaches, right? Who you gonna want to learn from? The person who coached him or Mike, who's on top, who's busting people down? Who do you think has more experience throwing blows? Because his coach only went so far, but Mike Tyson was the untainted guy. So if you have someone like that in the gym, you're telling me, oh yeah, Chris doesn't know what he's talking about because he's a pro. Well, how did we get there? You have to look. You have to be smart about your coaches. I see these guys posing on stage. I see these guys doing certain things, and they're wonder why and they're not winning. Well, Chris Cormier has experience. I have experience. Milos has experience. Sean Ray has experience. Ben Taylor. You go through them because they all were trained by someone. We all went through certain gurus. Chad Nichols, Pano Fragulis, right? What's the other guy's name that was training me? You got Chris. You got, man. I can go through like six guys that I have paperwork on how to
Placido.
train and how to get in shape. These guys are over here telling, what are the science? Science, my ass. You
But
ask Arnold Schwarzenegger if he ever counted a macro. Go
But
ask Berto Fox.
well,
Go
that's the
ask
new.
Frank Zane. Go ask Mike Sable. Go ask Victor Richards. You eat until you in shape. You do cardio, and Chris didn't want to count no damn macros for me. He was
I
like, "This is how much protein you're gonna eat. We're gonna try to put on 10 pounds, so we're gonna get instead of 8 ounces, we're gonna eat 10.
some
Then
of
we're
these
gonna go low carbs, and you gotta earn carbs. You gotta earn carbs. Where you go? Oh, today we're gonna get 400 grams of this and that. Man, stop that, bro.
Go
You
ahead,
do
go ahead,
that.
Yeah,
Matthew.
yeah.
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say some of these guru coaches are just they have like the best athletes, like the best genetically gifted athletes. Anyways, it's not like they're doing a lot for them, right?
Monkey
So
see, monkey
it's
do.
yeah,
When there's posing involved, there's training involved, but you just come in with a diet and some type of protocol. that physique is still going to be missing something unless
Hmm.
they're around somebody or need to hire or whatever they need to do. But you gotta, I just feel like you
Got to
need
be
to have
smart
more
with
than
it.
that in order to make a great product on the stage. I think so.
And then look at your coach. Like, it's like going to the hair shop. You want somebody with tore up nappy hair, messed up real bad, doing your hair? You do you no?
No.
You're gonna go to the person that it seems like. So if you make a person seem like they're the best, you got all these guys going to them. And some of these gurus have professional athletes and they're still amateurs. Like where I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not saying these gurus don't know anything. But I'll be damned if they gonna tell me I'm a professional athlete who's doing the IBB shows, 39 professional contests. You know, Chris got double that, who's been on stage standing next to Jay Cutler, standing next to Ronnie, learning from Kevin Levrone telling me stuff, learning from Ronnie Coleman going to his house eating. They wasn't counting no macros. They was eating, training, and sleeping. And that's it. And the chemical game. Now, then you have to learn what your body can take, what it's sensitive to, and what it's not. Certain stuff I couldn't take. That Chris Amen, I couldn't. It hurt me real bad. I was allergic to certain things. Something swell up on your body and a muscle and it turns red, you better stop taking it because you're allergic. Now, if you force that muscle to accept that certain propionate or whatever you taking, you're gonna have a problem and have lumpiness all over your body. Then you're gonna have to go do something to break it down. But what I'm getting to is just because we're pro athletes does not mean we don't know what's going on because there's a battle with the nutrition. You have to do it right. On stage, there's a battle on prejudge. Let's not talk about no Melvin Compose. Melvin knew how to battle. If you go watch any prejudging, I'll go after Chris, Kevin. You call me out when I'm a dog now, and I teach my clients to do the same. But never misconstrue that man or any professional athlete that's been on the stage saturated. I'm not talking about getting an IBB Pro card because it's a little bit easier now to get a pro card. I'm talking about experience. How many years you in the game you got, Chris? I started my journey in
Over 40,
93. Okay, so 40 years.
42, 42.
Exactly. And I got 30 years experience. So do you want to go to a guy who's using chat GBT and all this other stuff to do your diets and doing science and macros? Or do you want to go to a person who can tell you, can call on the phone, hey man, I'm throwing up and this is going on, and can tell you real time what to do to fix it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I see a lot of these guys missing at these shows. I'm like,
Yeah,
where's
you
your coach?
know,
Oh, he didn't come. What you mean he didn't come? Did you call him? He ain't answering. Since when?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of AI shit going on in our sport
Man,
right now,
knock it
isn't
off. Tell him knock it
I,
off.
well,
it?
I want to get Melvin's opinion on one of the top guys in the industry that's predicted to potentially win the Mr. Olympia, and you know what are your thoughts on a guy like Nick Walker? He's the opposite of what you brought to the stage.
Hmm.
He's the mass monster, the freak, right? What when you see his physique, what comes to mind? Like, is this something you're like, okay, that's cool. He looks good. If he wins the Mr. Olympia, that's good.
Okay,
Or
let me. I can break that down in 2 seconds. Now, no disrespect to Nick, because I like his physique. I
yeah,
do, for as far as what he's doing with his muscle. But that shot right there from the front you just showed, I've had a whole lot of guys like that stand in front of me, and I tore them apart. Nasser El somebody beat him. Guys like that I beat. Marcus Rule beat him. We can go down the list of mass monsters that got beat by me. Got beat
yeah,
by guys like Flex, got beat by guys like Chris. So you can I heard a couple of his podcast where he was talking about Samsa, this guy, whatever. I understand, and it is a definitely he's definitely a threat from the back. But if you turn it back around to the front, that waist, if he doesn't accentuate that back to be bigger, like what Jay Cutler did, he's not winning the Mr. Olympia. He's not
But
going to
check
beat
this
Derek
out.
again if he don't fix that.
But check this out. We went against Nasser. So Nasser 95, he placed behind me.
Uh huh.
But then 96,
He tore it up. That
but
boy was
96,
woo,
yeah. But I call
97.
it,
Oh my God. Long Beach. Oh my God. I saw that
but
man
and
walk
could have
out.
and could have won the Olympia, right?
He should have won the Mr. Olympia.
Right. So check this out. There's a guy named Nexzilla who people
yeah,
people talk about his physique a lot, like in a negative way. I take it like looking at his attributes, looking at his shortcut, whatever. No one's
It's
perfect.
nobody's
So
perfect.
he has the waist not the smallest, but I tell you what, as he started to compete and you're able to utilize your waist in a smaller way. I mean,
Angles,
I think yeah, and
angles.
I know I just think I saw for the first time, not for the first time, but I saw Nick at the Pittsburgh Pro, and I felt like that was the smallest waist that I've seen on him and competing with. Say
I
Rubio here, yeah,
I
Rubio
actually
here,
I
Tampa,
actually had Nick winning that show. You
right?
know,
Okay. Yeah.
shot
At,
shot for
at,
shot, I was like, ooh, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
Derek from
Yeah.
Farnsworth. I'm not Farnsworth. I like Derek Lunsford's physique and shot for shot. He's a Mr. Olympia, so there's no disrespect when it comes to his shape, right? But there's some flaws, and if you can expose those flaws, and I thought that you know, Nick Walker was kind of exposing those flaws at that
right.
show.
Yeah.
That he
I
was getting
agree.
the
I
That's
agree. Like
edge.
Nick is good in the poses, but when
Yeah,
he
he was.
relaxes and lets his stomach hang out,
You
it's
can't
just
do
like
that
it doesn't look. It's not a healthy look. Like you should
at
be a
all.
professional on stage at all times.
At all times. It was
So
taught.
in between the
You know,
transitions and everything, like he's letting it.
and as Rubio gets better, as long as he continues to bring up his lats to build on top of that waist that he has, because if Jay Cutler can do it, anybody can do it. Jay says it himself. I'm never was the most aesthetic, and when I stood next to Jay, I tried to attack him. That's a big boy everywhere, and when you get muscle like that balanced to where it accentuates a wider waist, get a wider back, you can't deal with that. And once Rubio comes into his own and brings that back, he's unstoppable. It's gonna take some time and maturity and really bringing up his width. But that boy got some stupid body parts, man.
yeah.
Stupid.
I was telling these guys I've been close to him through training, traveling, eating, going back to the gym. I've seen when we trained back in Spain, and I saw his back double in size just from the pump alone, and I was telling Brian, I was like, man, I said this guy can do something. This
There's some
guy can
dangers
really
out there,
do
and that's what
something.
I'm. Yes, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
That
I was
you,
just saying this guy can do something, and I feel
yeah,
like he was more balanced this year than he's ever been as far as like his legs look a little bit more balanced with his upper body.
and they're more separated, and
Yeah,
that's why
more
he won.
separate, and it's coming. And
That's
brother,
why he
I've
won.
seen and Melvin, I've seen striations in this guy's quads. When
Yeah.
he's doing leg extensions, I can see the striations there. It's only a matter of time where everyone's gonna see what I saw.
Now,
And
how
then
old is Rubio? How old is he?
he's 28 years old.
Oh man, shoot, boy, wait, man, shoot, boy,
But
at 2 years
check this
young.
out.
What?
This is what people don't
Ah,
understand about this guy.
ah.
He's very young. He had no experience on the stage. He just put Protan on probably for the third time in his life.
You
So you
watch
mean to
it.
tell me,
What?
this guy, yeah, you didn't even put, I had to
It,
talk
it,
him
it,
into
it,
putting the Protan on when we were in Prague. He didn't
well,
want to
in
even do
two
it.
two more years of this guy training and doing it right, man, everybody gonna have a problem. Now,
He's
there's a
28
lot of
years
guys
old.
coming out that I'm seeing that even in learning how to move, he's in the right camp. You know what I mean? Like if there's anything I can do
Yeah.
to amp him up, I'd make a monster out of that guy
He's still
posing.
working on, getting out here to America. I told him, I said, just get better English, get the American fans behind you by you just trying to get, be able to communicate with them better.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's got all the Spanish people around the world behind him.
Look at this.
But you get
yeah,
the
that
you
muscle
gotta.
maturity, man. In 2 years, this guy's gonna have some density that's gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
insane.
it's on the way, and like I say, just to see a human like that, like with those
Jesus.
calves,
That is
he
retarded.
got striated calves when he walk, even in the off season,
Yeah,
Melvin.
it's like a Ronnie-ish kind of, like just turn around
But
striated.
nobody, yeah, and
You
then
count him out if you want to.
Yeah.
those side shots are just deadly right there.
Deadly, yeah, lights
Look
out.
at this.
I mean, so Nick Walker, back to Nick, if he continues to work on his posing, I mean,
Hmm.
get experienced guys, get somebody that really knows how to their way around posing. Go to Milos. I mean, I don't care. Come to me. Go to Chris. Go to somebody who knows what's going on to be able to hide those flaws. Because when we were coming through, Chris will tell you, I had no calves. Zero. But I hid those things so good until I sight injected the hell out of them with my subs to catch them up. And then I started to, expose that one leg out, that one leg over here. But you got to learn how to hide your flaw until you got to close the door so that nobody can beat you. And right now, I'm sorry, he's got a flaw. Trying to get big and try to like go size for size with Samson, he should be trying to streamline because he's got enough muscle. If you try to be a mutant, it's over with. I never fear guys like that. But he's good. He's always gonna be a threat. But
Man,
how close can he get to the number one spot?
I remember I saw Nasser on stage. We were in Russia, and I felt like I couldn't even see his trunks on the side right here.
Yeah,
And I was like, man, this guy should not be beating me if I can't see his posing trunks all the way around.
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
straight
And all you got to
girths.
do, Mike, is just basically, if you really want to do research, if you really want to be like these guys are talking about, well, I think, I feel, the proof is in the articulable facts. Take a picture of Nasser at his best from the front and stick Nick Walker right next to him and see who wins. Turn up on the
True.
side,
Yeah.
turn up on the
Yeah.
side chest and stick that picture. Right, take Marcus Rule and stand in front of front and stick it next to Nick Walker and see what you see. There is no hiding that. You can't hide what your eyes see unless you're gonna lie to yourself. Can he
Yeah.
win a Mr. Olympia? If he does certain things, if he can balance out that waist with width, he maybe can do something. But he's not gonna beat no hottie. He ain't gonna beat no Samson. And he definitely ain't gonna beat Derek if he don't come in like he did when he should have beat him.
But
And
we've had people with a bigger waistline beat a lot of people like myself.
uh-huh.
Become Mr. Olympia, won the Arnold Classic.
Uh-huh. But
Uh,
look what he did. He had to get this wide with them lats to accentuate to have the illusion of having better symmetry. Because all them seconds that Chris won, there's a couple of that Chris should have
There's
won,
Nasser.
and they didn't give it to him. But if you
Good
take
Nasser.
Nasser and put that shot, put that ain't and put that next to Nick Walker. You can't stand next to Nasser. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Nasser,
Nasser's waist wasn't like it's not big or it's not really big or anything. It's
Uh-uh.
like
And he's big, he's massive, just like
yeah.
Nick Walker. But
but I
shot for
thought,
shot, oh man, you so over with.
but I just think the back held him back a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
He wasn't,
His
yeah, he
back
wasn't
held him
thick and
back.
dense. Yeah. But that's one shot out of seven. And okay, so if Nasser beats you 6 shots out of seven, you lose.
Mm.
That's bodybuilding. It's punch for punch. You know? Look at the density in his muscle. I mean, he wasn't nothing to play with.
I like
You
how
know?
those abs, man. He has some great abs.
Yeah.
Though.
He did. He did. Look at it, just aesthetic standing there. Look at the symmetry without even flaring his lats out. Look how he's hitting these shots. The bicep shot is correct. These guys act like they trying to, play airplane on the stage. Like, what you doing?
Yeah, man, that's
Right.
crazy, Nasser.
Crazy, man. You got it. You cannot really gauge how far you can go in a sport if you don't know your past. You don't go back and look at what they did to get there. It's doing the sport a disservice because the IFBB expects everybody to be at their best. Yes, it's a business. Yes, there's a lot of shows. Who cares? You could have 50,000 athletes, but if all of them look like trash, you're gonna have good trash and bad trash. I'm not saying it, and I'm just don't quote me. I'm not saying they look like. I'm just saying I'm giving it an example. If it's bad from the get go, how much further room if a person comes in like a Terrence Ruffin and that guy Stefan or Stephanie or whatever his name is, that them two guys like that, you get a Keon, you get a Keon, it's over with.
Well, okay, I'm
I'm
glad
telling
you
you right
said
now,
that.
if you really want to put money on it, I'll give you a prime example.
Glad you said that. Let's go to Keon
I don't
before
because I
we
don't
go.
care what they're gonna do to me. They can't do nothing to me. I'm gonna tell the truth. You take a picture of Keon right now. You take a picture of Keon and put him next to Samson. That's a problem. Right now, at his weight, he can give
Yeah.
Samson a problem. He definitely
208.
at 208 he can beat Derek Lunsford, and I put money on it. Is he ready to
Yeah.
do that right now?
Well,
How
that's
I
what I
don't
much
was
did
going to
care.
he?
ask you guys. He's saying he wants to do 212 for a couple more years and solidify. I mean, like, dude, you're beyond 212. there's no competition there for you
Yeah,
anymore.
he's capped out. So let him get his wins. Let him get his two or three. That's fine. But he's one of the most gifted guys on the stage. And I've told him that before he even started doing pro shows. He wanted me to help him pose and all this. I'm like, bro, you got a physique that's dangerous, dangerous, and that's when he was natty. So he's born with that. Like I was born with what I had, and he's putting the work in to cap out his physique. You can put him, let him win a 212, and throw him right in there with them top five guys: Andrew Jack, Derek Lunsford, Hottie, Samson, and he'll beat most of them and possibly beat them all because he's complete. He's round, he's full, he's got a 360 look from the front, the back, the side. He has calves, hamstrings, glute tie-ins, back is
I
low,
like
lat spread tie-in. That boy got everything he needs. Can't nobody, it's like a Muhammad Ali. He can
I
come
like
punch
that
down.
I like that the muscles are can actually
They move.
expand, grow,
They
open
Hmm.
yes,
up,
yes.
change. You know,
They
that's a
they ex,
beautiful physique right there.
yes,
Oh,
they extend and contract. And he has that skin, that real thin skin like Sean Ray. You're not messing with a dude like that. I'm sorry.
You know,
okay. So
I would
does this physique beat a Samson or a Hottie or a Derek when he's shredded, ready to go? Is he
Man,
ready?
well, I'll tell you what.
okay, Samson at his best
Yeah,
and Keon at
Keon.
his best. Here's how it works in bodybuilding. And I don't care who says what. It's hard to knock off a Mr. Olympia. You got to knock him out. It can't be close.
Samson's a big ass man. I'll tell you that
That's a
right
big
now.
boy right there. Samson not nothing to play with now.
Yeah.
That's why
He's
I'm
a
not gonna say
big
he
ass
can beat him.
dude,
I said he
man.
can give Samson a problem. Now,
It's
can
hard
he
for
not can he
it's
knock
hard for
Samson out?
anybody to beat Samson if he's in diced
No,
out shape
no.
though.
He
Because he's
not
got
got shape. He
structure.
not
He's
beating
got the
Samson.
structure. Yeah, he's got the
Yeah,
symmetry, the structure. Yeah.
yeah. And his muscles move when he pose. His muscles don't stay still. You know what I'm saying? When he does a contraction and opens up his lat, something happens. I'm not calling nobody out, but some of them guys do a lat spread and nothing happens. Some of them do back double bicep, and when they crunch their elbows down and flare it out, nothing happens. You see the lumps. Not putting nobody on blast, but you might want to fix that.
Yeah.
That boy's not nothing to play with. And whoever disagrees, I don't care. I've been on the Miss Olympia enough times to know Keon is a problem for everybody right now at 208
Oh yeah, he's not.
because I was never the biggest. I wanted to be Mr. USA in a class I wasn't supposed to be in. I won the USA in 1999 and I was 221 pounds and a half and didn't even know it because Dennis James never told me. He didn't tell me. But I knew I was close. On Thursday, I was 227 or 228. And the cutoff is 225 and a quarter. And so before I took my diuretic, I could have just went and spit. And Sean's like, hey man, why don't you just go to the heavyweights and go against Garrett Downing for what? If I can't beat these super heavyweights here, I ain't gonna beat him in the over. I'm not gonna get my pro card, so I'm gonna stay right here. And I did that. And Keon has that same body. He don't have to be the heaviest. If he's sliced and full like that, oh yeah, somebody gonna be crying. Somebody money gonna get took.
So when you see Samson, what does he need to work on anything? What is it? Just conditioning, or is there anything else he's got to
He
work on
just
here?
needs to stay full and get in condition. Make sure his glutes are tore out. Make sure the hamstring tines are tore out. He got a back. He's got arms. He's got a big chest. His waist is not crazy. He knows how to pose, and he's not afraid to battle. All this whole trying to be friends on stage, man. Chris is one of my best guys, best friends in the sport. But ask him what I did to him on stage. I don't care. I'm going after the juggler because that is bodybuilding. It's like, hey man, let's do this pose together. Let's do this together. No, it's about me beating you and exposing whatever flaws you got. And I was great at doing it. I wasn't,
Yeah.
winning shows or placing well because I was dancing. I was winning shows and doing well because I knew how to expose people's flaws. You go back to 2006, you can see me posing next to Jay Cutler. What only where I can attack him was the waist. Back double
Yeah.
bicep, my waist, my symmetry, my lines, my angles. That's the only way you can deal with a guy with that much muscle. Did he kick my ass? Yeah. But did I go after him? Yeah. That's bodybuilding.
I remember
Look at that
Kevin
Samson. Never
was
know how to play.
Kevin was trying to expose Ronnie by rubbing his stomach on the stage at the Olympia.
Wrong move.
And then Ronnie rubbed his back It was like it's like you got a stomach too. But it was we love competing against each other, man, and
The camaraderie
man,
was great, wasn't it?
so much fun, man.
It was so much
First,
fun.
getting on those planes together. That's the thing. Like it's all of us flying and traveling in the same plane, bus, or train, or whatever the hell it was. Man, it's nothing else like it, brother.
Yeah, nothing else like it at all. I mean, these guys today, not saying they're not friends now, but we talked a lot more than a lot of these guys to everybody. You know what I mean? It would get so intense. I remember, I'll never forget it. We were in Australia, and that was one of the times
I
I
was just
thought,
about to bring up Australia.
yeah, that was just one of the times I thought I was gonna get Chris. Ooh, I, I, like I said, this is how I learned the lessons I was trying to teach. Don't wake Chris up. Chris didn't realize how watery he was when he got off the plane. So I go in and tell still Curly Top. I was like, Curl, man, Chris is off, dog. I said, man, he outside with his shirt off. Go outside. So he's out there taking pictures with the newspaper, right? So I go
Yeah.
outside and I look. I say, look at him, look at him. So Curly Top goes around and see, oh, we got him. So we went and took a picture. My dumb ass took my shirt off and said, hey man, Chris goes, come on, get a shot, young buck. So I went over there and did a side chest with him. It's the only time I look better than Chris. That was on Thursday. Chris didn't say a word. Chris looked at me. I don't know what he did, boy, but Friday, Saturday, we're dead. I don't know what he did, but whatever he did, his body did a 360. I woke that giant up. So I knew, don't play with Chris. Let,
Yeah,
let him sleep till it's too late.
What did you do,
yeah.
Chris? What did you do? Tell him.
Well,
Might as well say
Tony would have us come out there. We have everything we need when we come off the plane. We're
Everything.
right over to
Food,
the gym. I wouldn't go to the hotel. I go straight to the gym, and I started my program. I started doing. I was get some training in to move some water around with the weights. Get into the tanning bed, uh, tan. Get in. I'm sorry. Do the cardio, then get in the tanning bed after I did the posing to get the posing going, it's getting a lot of sweat going, and I just do this twice a day for the next few days while I'm in Australia, and I just had this system, man. I won the first three Australian Grand Prix. Took second in the last two. I did it 5 times. But yeah, I just had the system out there, and Tony had everything. They were cooking all the meals and having us go back to our rooms, which was apartments. A bunch of chicken, bunch of rice, bunch of whatever else we needed.
yeah, yeah,
We had yeah, man, we had it down pat, and that's the one thing. And I was also helping guys go out there to Australia, calling up
yeah.
guys, hey, let's go and compete in Australia. It's a great time, and the fans are great. I remember, I remember when I lost my last Grand Prix to Lee Priest, and it was still like maybe 20, 30 fans waiting for me to come out. I was pissed. I didn't think I was ever going to go back to Australia again. I was like, I'm never coming back to this so much again. I was so mad, but I ended up taking everybody. I won. Tony would stand on your table and screaming
2000.
about and screaming, come by a photo from Chris Cormier, from
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 Melvin.
Melvin
Yeah,
Anthony, whatever
yeah.
his stand type of thing. Then everyone would line up as a queue and come by
T-shirts,
buy your
videos,
t-shirts.
hats.
Yeah. And so I left there with like I made like 3 grand in a matter of minutes out there.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
I gave it all back because I spent it all on dinner for all the fans that would wait for me. I said, hey, let's go eat, everybody. The dinner's on me. And
yeah,
I paid for everyone's dinner that night
yeah.
after that loss. But yeah, man, I do stuff like that periodically, man. I come out of the shows, take out my medal and put it around someone's neck as a gift for them. Uh, Stuff like that, man.
Chris would
It-
do weird stuff, and Chris was able to get away with a lot of things. Chris would use the disco to do cardio. I thought that fool was crazy.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna
that's
tell you
why he
right
was
now.
there. That's why he
People.
was there
So
so
we're
well.
talking about the party, and everybody
yeah.
parties, right? So I'll tell you this one particular story. It's not bad. It was just funny. So could nobody find Chris? So anybody, I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's Vegas. I don't care if it's at the Arnold in Ohio. I don't care if it's in Venice. I lived an hour away. If they ever wanted to find Chris, who could find Chris?
You.
Because I knew his habits, right? I knew what was going on. I'm like, you know what? I'll get him. So, Jim Man talking about I heard Chris at the club. Have you seen him? I go, yeah, you said before the Olympia. He goes to the club. He's hanging out with his people. The girls and guys went out and they partying. He go, I'm gonna go do my cardio. You gonna see him just not gonna drink no water, right? So he's doing his little vodka shots or whatever. He go, bam, he's gone. Now, mind you, when he's gone too long, I'm going to get Chris. So I figured out where he was, and I went to the club, and I'll never forget it. He was sitting in the middle of the dance floor by this pole, sitting on the ground, sweating like a slave. And I'm like, bro, I was like, man, you got a show. He goes, I know. He said, I'm just resting. I've been dancing for like 3 hours. So I was like, bro, you've been doing it the whole time. And he goes, man, I said, man, you ready to go? He was like, yeah, bro, pick me up. So I was like, helped him up. We got into a cab. We go back to the show, and he kicked everybody's ass. I said, bro.
Hey,
He goes, I told you. He goes, but I did my cardio. I was like, you crazy to the you crazy as hell.
hey,
You didn't go to sleep.
Matthew, before the '99 Olympia,
Yeah.
I trained like 5 days, and then I'd go spend 2 days in Vegas. I trained 5 days, spent 2 days in Vegas, and then
Wow.
God damn, I mean, even the club owner and the they would have a room for me for free at the Lexor, and then I'd go down to the club and I'd dance, and then I'd fly back home, and then I train those 5 days, and then come back. But I was getting my nerve up to control the crowd, to
Okay.
uh, also shed water, sweating like crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
then when it came down to the show, 99, you could see the difference in my posing. You could see the difference in my confidence. All of a sudden, it was totally different from any other year that I competed. And so I feel like I was doing that because being a naturally shy person, I said, I just gotta throw myself in the fire. I gotta come with something because I was gonna be because I was already saying before the show I was gonna be in the top three, but I've never been in the top three before. I've been top six, but never anything closer. So this right here was a product of going to the club, dancing on Friday night and Saturday night, come back home Sunday, get back to my program on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then get on the flight, and then go to Vegas. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I was training out of Venice. But yeah, man. So doing all of this stuff,
And
I
look how he's
feel
moving.
I
You
feel it
see,
was
look,
genius. Other people think it was whatever, but
it worked.
Yeah,
it
the
worked.
drive.
It
It
worked.
worked.
And I said, even the posing, Chris was a really, really good poser. I mean, he had the same entries into posing. Sometimes you can get lost.
Trapezius,
Everything,
lots,
Yeah.
rhomboids, everything. You see guys
lots.
You
today.
can see the muscle moving. It's there. It's not,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
Uh,
expected. Control, muscle
give it
contraction.
to him.
I stole
Don't
that from
do
Chris
it.
too.
Don't wait for the. Oh no! Don't do it to him like that. And a
Yeah.
slight
Hmm.
turn to the right to give the illusion of a bigger lat than what it actually is. You see that?
Yeah, and then he got to get the wow factor. He gonna shake his booty. You know what I'm talking about? He can shake his booty. When he did that, I must have fell out. I'm like, Chris, I know you didn't. That's muscle
Ah.
control,
Yeah.
mind muscle connection, right there. That is to be taught, and that's to be perfected. You got to
Hop on
learn
the
that.
horse. See right here?
Hmm.
That was like I did not plan on doing.
You told me
I
after the
did
show. I don't
not
know why
plan
I
on
did that.
doing that.
I don't know why I did that. I said you was feeling yourself, wasn't you?
I did not plan on that.
So the
Yeah.
Oh
guys today
shit.
don't do that, man. Guys today are
No.
not taking their time to entertain, and they're not battling during the prejudging. That prime example is at the Legion when we were commentating in the Legion, and I gotta put this on blast because I kind of didn't like what I heard. Like, this Ken Colosso character. It's like, bro, you're thanking the fans for getting you a call
Oh,
out. That ain't had nothing to do with the fans. If Danny Hester and myself did not complain, he would have been probably seventh. But I noticed that boy got a ton of muscle. That boy got a good physique, but he moves like a sloth. Bro, you can't be the last one to pose. You got to be the first and the last. It don't matter if you're the first man out or the last man out. You have to do something to keep the judges' attention. So for him to say, "Oh, I think the fans were getting me back in there," nah, man, we went to bat for you, man. Chris was like, "Well, who?" I said, "That guy. Who is that guy right there?" And he's like, "Well, that's Kenny." I said, "Well, that guy is getting overlooked." Danny was like, "Yeah, man, I see that, man." I was like, "Look at that, bro." I was like, "I guess the judges heard it, they got wind of it, and they did another call out at the night show, and he was able to go past Blessings." You get what I'm saying? But don't get that
Yeah.
twisted. Without an experienced eye, he would have been lost. So I reached out to his posing coach or whoever. I'm like, "Bro, whoever is teaching him how to pose, you need to either fire him or have him do plan B, because there is a
Yeah.
battle
Yeah.
in the prejudging, not the night show. And if he don't know how to battle. He got all the tools of a Uzi, and he's shooting a BB gun. And if you keep
Yeah.
on doing that, you're gonna get lost again. And I heard the judges say, I was sitting behind the judges. They were like, he just moves too slow. He just moves weird. Like he moves slow, Mel. I was
Well,
like, or Pat, whoever that guy was sitting next to
but
him.
you
I'm
know,
like,
some people do that. They'll do poses that they see that they like on different bodybuilders, and they try to emulate these bodybuilders, but they don't have the
Mm.
same attributes of that bodybuilder. Like
exactly.
no one can pull off that side tricep to the front shot like Andrew Jack unless you
Yeah.
have those type of
You got to have those attributes.
those
And no,
attributes.
yeah, nobody can pull off this one here unless you got big arms. Samson can do it because he got the arms. But if you putting your arms above your head and you don't look like Sergio Oliva Jr., don't do it. I ain't never did it, and I had 23.5-inch arms. I'm not doing it because I know if I expose myself this way, I'm gonna look like a stretched rubber band. So I'm not gonna do it. Lee Priest
I
telling me,
never tried that in my life.
hell no.
Yeah.
Lee
Lee
Priest
Priest can
can
get
do
away
it
with it.
because he got those big
He's got the arms.
gigantic
Yeah.
He
arms,
got the
but
arms. Paul
I
DeLay
could
can do it because
I
Paul
could have
DeLay had
never
24-inch arms.
I never done that before.
Heck no, bro. Heck no.
Also, some of the classic guys whine they don't have big arms, but they're doing all these arm movements that
Oh,
don't tell
Yeah.
me that you have a great arm. You don't have a great arm. Stop using them so much
don't
like
yeah, don't
that.
do that, man. Look, don't let people see because they say the longer you pose. I heard a judge say this. I think I heard Tarek say it. He goes, the longer you move, the more I can see that exposes your flaw. So if you got to get through those poses, don't be, doing 3 or 4 arm shots if you got 20-inch arms and die it down to 17s.
18. Yeah,
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
when all that water and fluid's gone.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, I think we covered a lot of topics here, guys. I know it's almost
Oh
7:30,
yeah.
or it is 7:30, so I know you got to get on the
I
road
got
here.
to go.
That's
All
what's
right,
up.
man.
Yeah,
Well,
man,
man,
it's
Thank you,
been
yeah,
great
brother.
talking to you guys.
it's good.
It's
Yeah,
always a
what's
blessing to
up?
hang out with my boy. You
Oh yeah,
know,
oh yeah.
and we
Yeah,
got we
man, we
got
gotta get
months in it
together, man. So appreciate you coming through, but stay in touch. We gotta get together soon. I'll let you know when I come down that way.
for sure. I'm in
Um,
your land.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for
For
sure.
sure.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, we'll
Thank
catch you
you,
in the
brother.
next one.
All
Okay,
right, bro. Peace out.
peace. See ya.
Later.